A pair of Cleveland mansions that hold more than 1 century of history are about to undergo change to solidify their future. They are pieces of the past we might have lost, if not for the people fighting to save them. News 5's Michelle Jarbo looks at how we got here and what comes next.
I could see who she was and what she was trying to do. It was just so unique, and you could really feel her presence.
Frances Mays has been gone almost a decade, but her fingerprints linger. Here, in these mansions on East 46th Street.
And Frances, being a hostess, she would always, can I get you this? Can I get you that?
Her nephew Norman remembers her energy and purpose.
Running around to this meeting and talking to that person.
Fighting for her block's place in history as the neighborhood around her
She was really pushing it.
faded.
It was really beautiful. It was very welcoming.
An unrealized dream Kathleen Crowther is taking on today.
Walking inside is what sold me on saying, we've got to figure this out.
Frances and her husband, James, bought these houses in the 1970s. Homes built generations ago for stoneworkers who built this city.
You see real craftsmanship. You don't see that in houses today.
Something about them spoke to Frances, a self-taught preservationist who never had children of her own.
These houses were sort of like her children.
Needing constant care. And money the blue-collar couple didn't have.
James did the labor, but she did the idea stuff.
Adding the houses to the National Register of Historic Places, named city landmarks, celebrating with a party and cake.
The house was set up like in my view, like a Southern Historic House museum.
A museum Frances imagined, but left unfinished.
Yeah, this would be a everyday job here.
City records tell the story of grant requests that went nowhere. A public agency that, 40 years ago, said the neighborhood was too bad. The odds were against Frances here in Central, the poorest part of the city. Government money did flow to this street in the early 2000s to help build these modern homes. But in the center of the block, history languished.
As they aged, they became less able to do things.
Frances died in 2015. James slowly declined, dying 2 years ago. And the houses deteriorated too, until a chance meeting.
It wasn't planned, it was providence.
Between two worried nephews.
Because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
And Kathleen.
I just felt sort of a connection with Frances.
Who leads the Cleveland Restoration Society.
I feel like you might have an emotional attachment to this one at this
point. Oh, I think I do. Definitely.
Now the Restoration Society is preparing to become the owner of these homes, where faded elegance is waiting to be reborn.
Right now, they're in a kind of frozen, stabilized condition.
And primed for conversations with real estate developers about renovating the houses and building on city-owned land nearby.
Historic preservation takes time.
Decades in this case.
That's probably the most important message.
And putting one woman's hopes into another's hands.
Yeah, it's time to move on. Let someone else take over.
Making two of Cleveland's oldest homes new again.
Rebuild the houses as they are.
In Cleveland,
it would really be nice.
I'm Michelle Jarbo, News 5.
It's history right there, right? The Restoration Society hopes to become the owner of the mansions by the end of the year, and the nonprofits renamed the properties the Del Mays houses in honor of the family that built them and the couple that owned them for all those decades. My goodness. And if you're anything like Mark and I with the music in that piece.
Very well done.